It was when I was listening to the story of Myokonin, and there are two of them. One is Saichi and the other one is Kichibei. And both are talking about the same thing. So they may have communicated, but I tend to think that this is very profound, that breathing in, breathing out, that's a natural breath. And when it happens, we're just following the law of nature. We can change the breathing by our mind, but as I went through Anapana, meditation in breathing, when you are into the calm mind state, quiet state, and the breathing become more natural, then it's amazing that you can relate to it. So the mind is empty because you're more focusing on breathing. So that's one way of anchoring into the moment to moment, the power of now. But those two guys were talking the same thing, that the breathing is Amida Buddha. And I hesitate to use the Amida Buddha because it sounds like some symbol that is so foreign to the Westerners. But the point is that Amida Buddha is just a way of nature as I see it. We can call Buddha or the God or whatever the term you prefer. It's beyond who you are. It's infinite wisdom that is manifesting around the world. The fact that we live is due to unknown force, and you can call it the law of nature or the universe or Buddha's power or whatever you choose, or Amida Buddha. In their case, Amida Buddha become important because Amida Buddha is taking care of the finite human being. It's the way they perceive, just like the relationship of God and who you are in Western world. Except that in the Christianity, it sounds like more of a hierarchical relationship. One is much superior than the other, but in the case of Amida Buddha is like a full of love, so that the people are accepted as they are, even if they are sinners. So whatever the history to get there, to me it's not that important, but the Myokonin are the guys who relate to that Amida Buddha's compassion, let's say, and therefore they find them as self-power. Your mind is focused on yourself, ego, and all that. Every time that happens, they think about Amida Buddha and say, Namo Amida Butsu. Please suck up all the bad nature of me, ego, by your Amida power, Amida Butsu. So that the Namu in Namo Amida Butsu is I let go of myself to Amida Buddha. So when they do that, it's a simple exercise, and they found the savior, and those are the people who are not intellectually advanced, but more naive, you might call it. They're very humanistic, loving people from my point of view, especially when I compare with the Zen monks, and they tend to be very stern and tough, wisdom-oriented, versus Amida Buddha is more compassionate-oriented. So we may need those two different ways for the population of the humans. Some are more inclined to the intellect and the wisdom, others are more inclined to the compassion. In my case, I was attracted to both, and as I get into the Shin Buddhism and revisiting Saichi or Kichibei, the two of them just this morning, and they're talking about this breathing, and I try it out, and it works so perfect. And the logic here is quite interesting. When I say it works, it means that you get the sense of love or compassion. And you can call it from Amida Buddha, I don't care how you or what you call, but I have this sense of vibration throughout my body and transparent sense, which I gained from the awakening experience from Vipassana, which is a different technique, so to speak, about looking at yourself and being here and now, and focus on inner body sensation. And then I had the awakening experience in 2000. But I have been always attracted to Myokonin, Saichi, and Kichibei. So when they said that, I thought that makes sense. Because breathing is natural, there's law of nature taking place, and you focus on it, you tend to forget your mind. And when you do that, and the expression is something like this: when you inhale, that is when you suck up the power of the universe. You get oxygen into your body, so it's kind of an aliveness you feel. And then stop a bit and then breathe out. When you breathe out, you are letting go of your sinful or self-centered view, or the dirty stuff, if I call that, which you don't want to keep it in serious. Just purify and let go of it. And then when you suck up there, oxygen, aliveness, and you get energized. And when you let go, your dirty air goes out, CO2 and all of that. So that's the nature's way of circulating the way so that I or you can be alive. Just breathing. As simple as that. So again, you don't need to look into the word Amida Buddha or what symbolizes all of that. To me, that's not that important. It's just, they call it the hoben. Upaka, I think it says in Indian. Just a trick, like they use this analogy of the kids playing and the people say the house is in fire. And the story is that, hey kids, come out. And they don't come out because they're busy playing. And they say, we have the toys here out there, and they come out. So that's just a trick. This is one of those upaka or hoben in Japanese, a trick to make us realize the importance of breathing and what it can come associated with the process. And as naive as I am, as in Myokonin, because I have that end of my spectrum, I like to explore and try, so I did that. And it totally makes sense that when I breathe in, clean air, oxygen, and open up. So your posture is better and you feel good. And then when you get the air out, let the dirty, useless thing go out. So Namu, let go. Amida Buddha come in, oxygen come in, and then I let go of the ego and all the delusionary thought. Simple exercise. And we can make something out of, like theory out of it. To me, it's not that important. Like I said, the Myokonin and the Shin Buddhism tend to be more for those less inclined to the intellect, but more trustworthy. They're just basic people. And if it works, that's what it counts. And I have this engineering or scientific mind, but I think there's something about the physiological response. And it's connected to the Anapana breathing, meditation, or Vipassana, inner body sensation to focus on, which I did. It all merges together like I talked about elsewhere. So if you are not as intellectually oriented and having fun, I suggest to try it out. Be open and see what happens. If it doesn't work, that's fine. But if it works, logically I can say the process is make you to be more straightforward with the nature's way of breathing, without the mind, and that process itself would cleanse the air and get things out of their system. And along with it, mind is clear, and the thought that we may have before may be discharged. The illusionary thought go out as you push the air out of it. So I just thought that I want to capture it and share with you.